Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope everyone is well today. We all come here for different reasons. To find community, to seek spiritual and personal truths, to question, to nurture heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find some answers to important questions. We welcome you. We all come from different places, different religions, different beliefs, and different backgrounds. We hope to find comfort, connection, challenge, and love here. Welcome all. I'm Dave Cook, your service coordinator for today. If you're new to North Chapel, welcome. If you're visiting, please consider signing the guest book at the back of the sanctuary, to the left of the door. We have hearing assistance devices and large print versions of the hymns and the order of service on the back table should you need them. We also have some announcements by Joanne Boyle.
Good morning, everyone. First, I have a question. Who said water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink? You know?
It's the rhyme of the ancient mariner.
The rhyme of the ancient mariner. Okay, that makes sense. I remember learning that a long time ago and not knowing what it meant, but we know now. First off, there won't be coffee after church today because I forgot to get water for that, but I think we can handle snacks if we have them. I want you to know that we're not going to have the pizza party on Wednesday night behind the church because the pizza oven was not damaged, but there's a lot of silt. This is the sandy stuff that came with the water up in that area. And that silt is dangerous. It's poisonous. So if you have kids, please don't let them play in it, although it's really fun. And we hope that it will be shoveled and carted away by Bruce Schultz Monday or Tuesday. And lastly, we are going to have the Wednesday lunch. In your order of service, it says down by the river. It won't be that close to the river. It'll be probably on the picnic tables. So please join us, community together, for lunch on Wednesday. Bring your own drinks, bring your own bag lunch, and we'll welcome you then. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who helped yesterday. The cleanup was phenomenal. I wasn't here for it, but I heard they did a great job.
Monica will be leading spiritual exploration later on and we'll take the kids downstairs. After the service, we invite you to visit with each other in whatever setting you find more comfortable. Of course, we have a problem with the water, so be careful about that. Or you can remain in the sanctuary or enjoy the rain outside or be on the front porch. Now we have a few words from Reverend Leon, read by Michael Scholgos.
Good morning, everyone. These are Leon's words. In seminary, they taught us to preach from the scar and not the wound. Our teachers encouraged us to heal our own hearts as well as possible before going out to tend to the wounds of others. That teaching goes out the window in times of crisis, like what's happening now. In times of crisis, we just respond. We care for friends and family. We care for those who are near to us and for our communities. We care for the beautiful town in which we live. Sadly, of course, our town has taken a beating. The Dead River building is unusable once again, they say. It's closed up and roped off with caution tape now. On either side, there are troubles. To the west, the farmers market was deluged, and to the east, the parking lot on all sides of the White Cottage was destroyed. It's like this all along the river. We are lucky because conditions today are not as bad as they were in 2011. But the wounds we knew back then are open again anyway. We're stronger now. Tough behind the wheel, and we do real work with our hands. Rough as stone and steel, we build a nation that withstands. All of the trials and tribulations and the petty urgencies, we put them all behind us, faced with real emergencies. You should have seen them, the heroes rushing in where the angels fear to tread, the work crew and the volunteers, the older folks and the younger ones, people from all backgrounds. We pulled together in 2011, and we are pulling together again today. We've got this. If you're not sure about this, just turn to your neighbor and ask. We left for Brave Light this morning. Right now, we're nearing Portsmouth. A group of youth and young adults from the Upper Valley are heading out to Star Island to meet up with a group of youth and young adults from the Boston area. We're going to be talking about big challenges. Climate change is one of the most significant. We've got great teachers. We've got a great staff. Keep us in your hearts this week. We are trying to learn how to address the things that are going on right now. Wish us luck. When we come back, maybe we can talk about what we're all learning. Maybe together, we can heal up strong. Peace.
Thank you, Michael. Since Monday's flooding, we've been helping each other, evidence of Woodstock's strong community. It occurred to me that this kind of neighborly help is one way that dedication to one's fellow human beings manifests itself. I recently learned about a man who's practicing another way, a way I hadn't known about before. The man is named Demis Hassabis, born in London in 1976. As a teenager, he read a book about the grand quest for a unifying theory of nature, one that can explain forces as different as the cohesion inside the atom and the gravitational tug between the sun and the earth. He says, but I remember concluding, wow, they hadn't actually made that much progress on it in a whole lifetime. And so then I started thinking, well, perhaps the problem is we need a little bit of help and a little bit of extra intellectual horsepower. So Demis Hassabis started working in the computer gaming industry. And in 2010, he founds his own company. He says, so we were doing games as a testing ground, but we always had in mind, and I always had in mind, the very thing I was thinking about as a teenager, of using artificial intelligence as a tool for science. And once we'd mastered a lot of games, the idea was that these systems would be powerful enough and sophisticated enough, we could turn them onto very important real-world problems and real-world challenges, especially in the sciences. Now, what gives me hope in this world is when I hear about someone who could have focused on making a lot of money, who could have changed their mind about their teenage ambitions, who could have settled for a financially easy life, but who kept their altruism. Demis Hassabis went on to actually realize some of these goals a decade later. Our guest speaker today, Helen Hong, embodies that desire to contribute to a better society. We will now have a brief time of meditation. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you Helen Hong, who will give today's reflection. She's been active for many years in the Upper Valley, working to help people with housing.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you to all of you for coming out here today on a Sunday when it is rainy and dark outside. I had originally planned to talk about my journey from being a corporate lawyer in Washington, D.C. to then working at Twin Pines Housing for about 13 years, and now I cover home repair. And with the recent storms and the flooding, I was just trying to find a more relevant topic. So Dave, I hope it's okay that I'm gonna just chart a new course for my talk today. I wanted to reflect on the thoughts that I had after Irene in 2011, and I think it still holds true today. So when Irene happened, I was working as an AmeriCorps member at Twin Pines Housing, and many of the folks I was working with, I was part of the homeownership program. So Twin Pines Housing, as many of you may know, builds affordable rental units. The piece that folks may not know is Twin Pines also has a smaller homeownership portfolio of about 50 folks. Is this microphone working okay? Yeah. Okay. The state of Vermont offers a lot of down payment grant monies to assist first-time buyers in Vermont. And we've worked in the past with Jill Davies at Woodstock Community Trust to bring homeownership to buyers. And after Irene happened, there was a lot of destruction and a lot of incredible relief and recovery efforts came into being. And as folks started to see the light at the end of the tunnel, there started to be conversations about how do we help prevent this from happening again? And there were a lot of really positive conversations about river management, flood mitigation, enlarging culverts. And the conversation that I heard a lot of in my seat at Twin Pines Housing was mobile homes and the particular destruction that faced a lot of these mobile homes. And there was a model called the Irene Cottages that was floated out there where you would essentially take a modular built home in a factory setting. It would be built to the size of a standard mobile home so that you could easily replace an existing mobile home with a more energy efficient, net zero if you added solar panels. And how great would that be to replace all of these mobile homes that were destroyed with these net zero modular housing. And where we came in is the state of Vermont and a lot of planners came to us and said, we want to put a lot of money into this. We have these designs now with a builder, but we need to find folks who are willing to take this project on. Can you help us find buyers? And Twin Pines has a 9-unit mobile home park in Boylston that was not affected by Irene, but a lot of the mobile homes have seen better days. And so part of my job was to find someone in this mobile home park who wanted to trade in their existing home for a brand new, modular, almost net zero home. And I thought the task would be easy, but at the end of the day, I had only one owner who agreed and said yes. And what I found was, even if the state was getting to a point where they said, we could put in $50,000, $75,000 to subsidize that cost, so that essentially a person can acquire a new home for maybe $10,000, $15,000. What I learned was there were a couple of barriers. So one of the barriers was that folks didn't believe there was what's that phrase called? Some folks are willing to try new things, but most of us are not. And we hear the term, if it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. So there was definitely that mentality, and I'm one of those folks, is I tend not to jump first into any offering. So there's a barrier of like, why is the state offering me money? What's the catch? But I'm convinced that the larger reason was because this was someone's home, right? And even if it looked like they had plastic on their windows and it looked like they were keeping the water running in the middle of winter to keep the pipes from freezing, that to an outsider it looked like a home that was just waiting to be replaced, that this was still someone's home. And as a home, as all of us can probably relate, I just bought a new home with my husband, and there are things that still need to get fixed, but it's still our home, and it's good enough for us. And if someone knocked on my door or your door and said, hey, this home that is good enough for you is actually not good enough. It's not good enough for you. It's not good enough for the environment. It's not good enough for our community. And we think you should replace this home with a better home. I'm not sure any of us would actually raise our hands and say yes. And so that was one of my lasting lessons from that experience. And I was trying to think about it in the larger context of housing generally and affordable housing. And in the world that I live in, the number that gets thrown around is we need 10,000 new homes by 2030. And, or it could be, we need to reach climate goals by, this many years. And those calls for action are really compelling. And yet, the danger is that the call to action, if you forget about the homeowner or the person who is at the center of it, it's easy to forget about why we're doing something. And it's really important in my experience to just slow down and take a pause and to listen to who you're talking to. I was not, I kind of came into today not wanting to talk too much about Cover's work, but I will just share that the work that draws me to Cover is the homeowner-centeredness of it. So from the start to the end of the project, we really bring the homeowner into the process so that the homeowner is telling us what work needs to be done. And then on the project days, we invite the homeowner to actually participate if they can by either making lunch or sitting with us for lunch. And we keep them centered into that process. The goal isn't, as much as I would like to say it is to repair 70 homes a year. That looks great on my grant applications and my end of the year report. But what is truly a good day for me is when I've made a connection with the homeowner and I can say that this homeowner has made some new connections with the volunteers who've shown up that day to really see each other as neighbors and not just another box to check off. So thank you for giving me a little time to reflect with you today. I have some time after the service if anyone has particular questions. We do have a couple of insulated skirting projects for mobile homes that are on our list, and I'm happy to share with you how you might find out about our projects. Dave, I don't know if if anyone has a burning question that they would prefer not to wait, please ask. Otherwise, I am available afterwards. Thank you.